into this.
7 states of India, eastern part of India, called Seven Sisters. They are landlocked region of India. They have no way to reach out to the ocean. We are the only guardian of the ocean.
Welcome to the Currently. In this video, we shall look and analyze threats of some Bangladeshi politicians and armed forces personnel about the vulnerability of India at the Siliguri Corridor, which is also called India's chicken neck. Recently, it has emerged that Bangladesh, with the help of China, is planning to threaten the vulnerable Siliguri Corridor, which connects India's northeast to the rest of India. But how serious is this threat? Or is it just another case of a movie-level dialogue and ground reality zero? Let's break it down. Almost completely surrounded by India, 94% of its border touches Indian soil, and while Bangladesh dreams of blocking the Siliguri corridor, it forgets that it has not one but two chicken necks of its own, one at the Rangpur corridor and at the Chittagong corridor. But before going into the details of these corridors and how India can block them, we shall have a look at how dependent Bangladesh is on India and how India can use these dependencies as a leverage against any Bangladeshi misadventure. Let us now discuss how dependent Bangladesh is on India for its electricity needs. India supplies over 1,600 megawatts of electricity to Bangladesh. Adani Power alone contributes to 5% of the entire Bangladeshi grid. Add to that 40 megawatts of power which Nepal exports to Bangladesh via Indian territory. Without Indian cooperation, Bangladesh may literally go dark. Not just that, Bangladesh is dependent on India for its pharmaceutical and healthcare needs. Over 30% of Bangladesh's active pharmaceutical ingredients come from India. And life-saving generic drugs also come from India. And every year, thousands of Bangladeshis travel to Indian hospitals for advanced treatment for diseases like cancer. Now, let us discuss the dependence of Bangladesh's textile industry on India. Bangladesh is known for its textile industry worldwide. Textiles are Bangladesh's economic backbone, and it is India that supplies the cotton yarn fueling these export machines. Over 50% of cotton yarn in Bangladesh comes from India. Now, let us discuss how Bangladesh is dependent on India for its water and irrigation needs. Like Pakistan, Bangladesh is heavily reliant on over 54 rivers that originate in India, including the Ganga, Tista, and Brahmaputra that flow into the Bangladeshi territory. Ask Pakistan what happens when India decides to control cross-border water flows. Also, the geography of Bangladesh is such that it makes it entirely dependent on India. Bangladesh shares land boundary almost entirely with India. The only exception is a 271-kilometer border with Myanmar, hardly enough for overland trade. India controls all the vital transit trade routes. Also, Bangladesh shares its maritime boundary with India. Bangladesh's maritime security will flourish with cooperation from India. All these dependencies will make Bangladesh think twice about antagonizing India. Antagonizing India means inviting big trouble for Bangladesh, but you can't say anything with certainty about a country which runs more on nationalism without caring for national interest. Let's now discuss if Bangladesh can really threaten the Siliguri corridor. For this, let us compare the militaries of both the countries. India is ranked 4th in the world in the Global Firepower Index, just behind the United States, Russia, and China. This signifies India's military is just behind these superpowers, whereas Bangladesh military is ranked 35. Bangladesh's army focuses more on peacekeeping missions and maintaining internal security, whereas Indian army focuses more on securing its borders and has more combat experience than the Bangladeshi army. The Indian army also is equipped with Rafales, S-400s, BrahMos missiles, and nuclear submarines, and is actually combat ready. Also, the Siliguri corridor is not undefended. It is protected by the Trishakti Corps of the Indian Army and is equipped with Rafale jets, BrahMos missiles, and S-400 missiles. Blocking this corridor isn't very easy. It is a fantasy. Not to mention, Indian retaliation could devastate Bangladesh's economy and security. Also, the Indian Navy is disproportionately larger and powerful when compared to the Bangladeshi Navy. It has aircraft carriers with nuclear capabilities. The Indian Air Force is disproportionately larger than its Bangladeshi counterpart. Just like the Siliguri Corridor, Bangladesh too has two narrow choke points, one connecting the Chittagong Port with the rest of Bangladesh and another near Rangpur. These Bangladesh's own chicken necks are vulnerable and India has the means to squeeze them if provoked. However, Bangladesh, with the help of China, can cause disruption in the Siliguri corridor theoretically. But for that to happen, China needs to operate from Bangladesh. There is a talk of reviving the Lalmonirhat Airbase in Bangladesh, which is near the Siliguri corridor. And this airbase can be used by China for gathering intelligence and as a logistical hub and to build psychological pressure against India, if not for a direct combat. World over, China has not directly sent its armed forces for combat on a foreign soil. From China might be detrimental to Bangladesh, as China's checkbook diplomacy can make Bangladesh fall into Chinese debt trap. This can lead to internal political issues and affect Bangladesh's sovereignty. While the economic benefits are welcomed, concerns about sovereignty and over-reliance on a single foreign power can emerge among the public and civil society groups in Bangladesh. This is particularly true if Chinese projects are perceived as having adverse environmental impacts or if there are labor issues involving Chinese workers. India can respond to these threats by China and Bangladesh by fortifying the Siliguri Corridor, accelerating alternate connectivity projects to the northeast, enhancing diplomacy and counterintelligence operations. There is also a talk of India planning to revive the Kailasahar airfield in Tripura, which was last used in the 1971 war. In extreme cases, the Indian armed forces can resort to the blockade of Bangladesh's chicken necks, which we shall discuss now. Let us now discuss how blocking the Chittagong Corridor can affect Bangladesh. The Chittagong Port handles over 90% of Bangladesh's international trade. One corridor, barely 30 kilometers wide, connects it to the rest of the country. Any disruption here by India, either through land force or a naval blockade, would be catastrophic for Bangladesh. This narrow land corridor near South Tripura links the rest of Bangladesh to the prized Chittagong port. India could block this by deploying troops or by using its navy to enforce a maritime blockade in the Bay of Bengal. This would be a crippling blow on Bangladesh. India also has the option of blocking the Rangpur corridor, which is about 100 kilometers long at its narrowest point. The Rangpur corridor near India's Meghalaya and West Bengal isn't as economically critical as the Chittagong port, but it is strategically important. By taking this corridor, India can finish off its chicken neck dilemma by expanding the Siliguri corridor. Disrupting roads, bridges, and railways here would paralyze the internal logistics in northern Bangladesh. To conclude, Bangladesh may talk tough, but India holds the real cards from trade to territory, from ports to power. Before making threats, perhaps Bangladesh should check its own chicken necks, because in geopolitics, reality bites. Bangladesh cannot afford reckless threats, and India won't tolerate strategic blackmail. Real diplomacy demands responsibility. The region needs stability, not saber rattling. Let's hope common sense prevails. Bangladesh must understand this. When you're surrounded by India and dependent on India and reliant on India, maybe threatening India isn't the smartest idea. Bangladesh's unelected regime has made the region unstable with careless words. This isn't diplomacy, it is a dangerous delusion. Real peace depends on accountability and democracy in Dhaka. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Should India call Bangladesh's bluff or maintain strategic patience? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.